Hi, I'm Mattyd, and this is my frank and unfiltered review of Magical Literary Heroine Natsuki Saves the Literature Club.
Wow, that's a long one.
That's what she said.
I don't like doing reviews on short mods or short visual novels because inevitably there's always more critique than aspects of the enjoyment when I write a script. It's why when I did the 3 short visual novel video, it was spoiler free. But I enjoyed playing this a lot. And so, here's a vid despite my better judgment. A mod for Doki Doki Literature Club. Now, it's been a while since I played a DDLC mod, and I gotta be honest, I didn't realize how much I missed it. Something wonderful about revisiting Doki Doki Literature Club again that's difficult to express. The atmosphere, the music, seeing the characters just really made me smile. So I played Magical Literary Heroine Natsuki Saves the Literature Club, which contrary to its long title is a very short mod. Maybe too short?
That's what she said.
More on that in a bit. And I don't eat a lot of sweets, but hey, it's Natsuki, so I gotta have a cupcake when playing a Natsuki mod.
No, Matty. It's pronounced Natsiki.
It's pronounced Natsuki.
Actually, Matty, I think you'll find it's pronounced Natsuki.
I think.
Matty, it's pronounced Natsiki.
Or is that Natsuki?
I really should know this.
Right up front, this is a good mod. Only a couple of hours long, fun, and very worthwhile. And you absolutely should play it. Right now if you haven't, cause I'm gonna spoil it.
Spoilers.
Spoiler warning.
Spoilers?
Oh, and I didn't have any cupcakes. I did have a muffin. It was a Bran muffin. Spoiler, it didn't taste very good. Anyway, Mystical Natsuki and I started out great. It's cute and has a good premise. Cleverly written, well-conceived, and enjoyable to play. We start off in the club room where Natsuki wakes us up, and apparently we've been asleep for a long while. Even Maverick Natsuki is not sure how much time has gone by. But the big deal here is, the other members of the club have disappeared, which starts to sound familiar. And it should, as we discover the mod picks up just at the end of the canon game. You remember? Where your hopes, dreams, and soul got monkey stomped? That big and lasting boo-boo on your feels. But it's okay because Natsuki has a plan that will kiss that owie and make it all better.
The only kiss you're getting from me is my fist on your big fat face.
Yup, Natsuki, main character, and you are going to save the Literature Club. Oh, and there's a mysterious stranger too, but pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. It starts out normal enough, and then things get weird. But it's a good weird, mostly. The player, you, is still the player and sentient.
Debatable.
But main character and Natsuki are also now sentient. And Manix Natsuki can change the game code, but she only mostly uses it for jumping around the timeline to get to other scenes, and outfit changes. Self-awareness on everyone's part. Well, Natsuki main character and the player at least. Sayori and Yuri are still unaware that they are characters in a game. And of course Monika is sentient, but she doesn't know that Natsuki and main character have gained sentience. And we really don't see much of Monika. She's almost entirely off screen for the game, maybe in a box that has break glass for boss fight written on it. Anyway, the mod picks up at the end of the canon game, right after the big delete scene.
Scenes.
What?
Delete scenes. First Monika deletes it, and then also Sayori deletes it. Oh, and Monika deletes it again after we delete it. Wow, there was a lot of deleting, wasn't there?
It was pretty traumatic.
Marvelous Natsuki's plan to fix the game has us looking for clues, and since the entire game takes place in 2 versions of 1 week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday are the days we have to go back to make changes to, but not in a way that Monika will notice. Now, I normally save my biggest butthurt moments for the end of the review, but in this case my biggest butthurt moment happened right at the start, so I want to address it now. As I said, this is a really good mod that you should absolutely play. But for me, almost immediately it got my panties in a twist, as apparently the mod doesn't want me to have any fun. Very early in the game, you get to the first decision screen, and there's a bunch of choices.
Cool.
Not really. Look, I love a lot of choices, but it can be tough to have this many choices this early on, as there's very little context from the story to influence the decision making. But no problem, these choices seem mostly innocuous, right? And I saw the choice I obviously wanted to make, but I also saw one that made me laugh. And I was really curious to find out how the novice weeb's favorite sundry would react to it. So I saved the game, so I could pick the not what I really want to choose choice, intending to then go back after to pick the real choice. And the game kicked me out. Okay, no problem, that was pretty funny. But then I couldn't get back in. Not without first going into the files and deleting first run.
Rage.
Which deleted my saves.
More rage.
See, I hate save scrubbing.
You mean save scumming?
No. Save scumming is where the player goes back to a save in order to change the event or outcome of the game. Save scrubbing is when the game deletes your save so you can't go back. It's also a term I just made up.
Go you.
I know, right? Save scrubbing has only ever worked well for me one time, and that was the canon Doki Doki Literature Club game after the Sayori thing, where she goes away, and I had to live with the horror of the circumstances of my choices, and the powerlessness of not being able to go back and make it better. Every other time I've come across save scrubbing, it's only made me mad, as it's just been an obstacle that keeps me from picking the story back up emotionally at the point I left off. It's this kind of shenanigans is the reason it took me 3 months to get through Monica Before Story. Every time that game treated me poorly in a way that didn't add to the experience, I had to take a break.
Reset.
Yes.
Clear your palate.
Exactly.
Take a mulligan.
Okay, settle down. And then when I did go back into Monica Before Story, I made damn sure I didn't take any risks. Because I didn't want to have to go all the way back again, mess with the files again, and then start over. Again. And I'm sure that killed a lot of my enjoyment. So Metrical Natsuki did it, and that soured me and totally borked my immersion.
Hey Matty, is it now about the time in your video where you overshare?
Yes. Look, my shtick in these videos is a deep dive of the story elements and characters' actions, relationships, and continuity, and I do it in a play-by-play, condensing and analyzing my own experience going through it. These are my real-time notes, from my perspective, that eventually become this script. At the end of the game, when the script is done, I'm able to wrap up the whole experience, and speak more intelligently about the good, the bad, and the ugly, but mostly the good. But I'm not there yet with Mythical Natsuki, as I just started playing. I only know I was having fun, and then I was not having fun. My job is to tell you why. Before I do, keep in mind, I've played a lot of visual novels and Doki Doki Literature Club mods, but I'll only ever make videos on the ones that I recommend. It's worthwhile and worthy of your time, or I wouldn't bother. Magical Natsuki and Monica Before Story are no exceptions. I recommend them and you should play them. In fact, you're screwing yourself if you haven't played Matriarchal Natsuki and are watching this vid. So, oversharing. Here we go. Life is filled with ups and downs, and at this moment, I'm in a bit of a down in my life. It happens. So do you remember in Shizune's vid, where I said, and unlike Shizune, I myself tend to avoid the conflict and aggressive and sundry characters when going down paths because of how deeply and emotionally involved I get when playing a visual novel. Anytime I'm engrossed in the story and then get yanked out of the immersion, it leaves a lasting bad impression for me, because now I'm too gun-shy to allow myself to be vulnerable again, at least right away. It has to be done in a manner that enhances the experience and creates an even deeper element to the story, and that didn't happen for me here. Instead, I went from the momentary respite and escaping the downs and dour of my real life, from the excitement of returning to Doki Doki Literature Club with a fresh perspective and open to Mistress Natsuki's plans, to sitting there with my mouse in my hand, yanked out of it, and reminded of all the beyond my control real life bullshit. Triggered that the mod messed with me and I couldn't find a good reason why it happened. Kick me out, fine. Just don't mess with my saves. If you're gonna do it, you better do it in a way that's truly impressive. This wasn't, and neither was this. I tried to go back in, but I had to stop. I simply wasn't absorbing anything I was reading. Now, I know that most people probably didn't even bat an eye at this, but most people aren't making this video. Okay, that's out of the way. So back to the mod. Natsuki is taking us around the canon game, and together we're figuring out how to save the Dokis, without Monica finding out. We get to the first poem game, and Malty Natsuki asks us to write a poem. She asks us to write it for the Doki we pursued the very first time we played Doki Doki Literature Club. And I said to myself, because that's what I call myself, I said, fuk-fukity-fukfukfuk.
You said fuck-fuckity-fuck-fuck-fuck.
I did.
Why would you say fuck-fuckity-fuck-fuck-fuck?
Good question. See, the first time I went through the game, I pursued Yuri with aplomb, but I was shattered when I told Sayori I just wanted to be friends, because I really believed I had caused the whole Sayori goes away thing. I know I didn't, but I felt like I did, and I still kinda do. I know, I didn't. So now I'm going crazy because I'm not sure if I should go after Yuri, like I did, or if I should go after Sayori, like I should, or if I should go after Natsuki because it's her mod and maybe that's what the mod wants me to do, and the Natsuki choice would be the right path, and I don't want a bad end because then I have to go back and then delete
Matty.
the first run file and go all the way to the beginning. God damn it!
Matty!
Yeah?
Calm down.
Okay.
You okay now?
Oh yeah.
Got that fuck-fuckity-fuck-fuck-fuck out of your system now?
Yes. Anyway, I girded my loins and went for Yuri, as I did originally. And Natsuki's reaction was hilarious. I'm gonna have to play this part again, and choose Natsuki's words just to see her face, and then again for Sayori. Oh wait. No, I won't, because once again the game scrubbed my saves. So if I want to do that, I'll have to restart from the very beginning and delete the first run file, and I just want to play the freaking game. Do I have to go through the full housekeeping and do all the way back every freaking time I want to play the freaking game?
Fuck-fuckity-fuck-fuck-fuck. Fuck-fuckity-fuck-fuck-fuck-fuck-fuck-fuck-fuck. Hey!
Okay, honestly, I had a lot of fun with this choice. Moments like this where I struggle with the choice because my mind is trying to plan 3 or 4 moves ahead as to what the effect of each choice on the story is going to be are why I play visual novels in the first place. So bravo for being able to capture that there. It's just a bummer I didn't get to go back and see where the other choices led. And there's a lot of choices in this mod, some of which make the ending more relevant and much more poignant. And with others, it seems like they're kind of out of the blue. For that reason, I wanted the mod to be longer. It really felt compressed in places, and made some of the choices akin to guessing, simply because there wasn't enough story behind the decision making for it to be an educated judgment. And because of the short length of the mod, the Doki personalities also feel compressed. Natsuki is dialed back. The harsh personality we've come to know and tolerate is almost completely absent. She's very patient with both the main character and the player, and there really was never any tension with her. Only a couple of times does the sundry really come out, and it's very brief, which is a bit of a bummer as I've recently started to enjoy aspects of the sundry, at least the parts that don't piss me off. I was anticipating some
Baka.
moments as I was sure main character and myself were bound to screw stuff up and get her riled. Sayori is Sayori, no real changes in her cameos. She has a nice Sayori fluidity to the conversations and the changes we make while we're playing her scenes. Yuri indeed holds on to her mannerisms, which was a nice anchor to the canon, although she does feel the most like a script or a program, as the different choices we present to her seem to make her react in an unexpected way and then reset back to the scripted part, a nod to Monica and or the game pulling her strings. As an all-Doki best Doki guy, I like the story and the screen time overall, with one exception. Monica kind of felt like an afterthought. She's really in just a quick dialogue puzzle and then shows up for a boss fight at the end. I almost wanted main character and player to sneak off while Manic Natsuki was busy and find Monica practicing piano. Not really, more of have her in a dark room showing signs of her pain, the hell and torture the game puts her through, and the behind the scenes of all that went into that moment of Greek tragedy and decision, to swallowing her fears, brandishing her pen. Then Marshal Natsuki could grab main character and player, drag them off, and go all angry sundry on them for being dorks, dummies, and reckless. Like I said, I wanted more of the mod, which is a compliment, unlike the Bran muffin, of which I wanted less. There's no place for romance in it, the mod, not the Bran muffin. But more time with the Dokis was missed. A few more scenes with Yuri and Sayori, and especially exploring Natsuki and Monica's characters would have been great. But I really did enjoy reliving the canon game scenes, deconstructed and spun through the eyes of the modder, and guided by Natsuki. Okay, at this point in the video, I could go all Mattyd on it and bring up, I'm still not sure what we accomplished with Sayori and Yuri at the end. I mean, saving them is great, but after that, neither Yuri nor Sayori know about the player, or that Natsuki, main character, and Monica are sentient. Are Sayori and Yuri sentient? In the space room, we continue telling Sayori and Yuri that this is a dream and it's not real, but at some point in the future, after the game, will we come clean and tell them it's real? Or are we going to continue the lie with both of them? I mean, the Dokis can't go back to reliving the previous week leading up to the festival, not without resetting Sayori and Yuri. And also, there's no game script going forward. Could Natsuki and Monica write one? Or are all 4 of the Dokis and the main character just going to hang out in the space room looking out the window forever? It gets existential and doesn't answer a lot of the questions we already knew we didn't know. Like, why in a cute dating simulator does the president of the club become sentient and then endure endless torture and being trapped, all bombarded by the game to the point where she goes nearly insane and desperate to do anything to avoid that pain? Also, there are original poems for Sayori and Yuri, which really help them get past those moments which go so horribly wrong in canon. And there's sort of a poem to Monica, but it doesn't help her and she quickly dismisses it. As I said in a different video, making Monica the villain really sells the entire game short. She's driven to near insanity from the torture the game inflicts upon her. The game is the villain, and Monica's its primary victim. The good news is the mod does, when we confront her, give a nod to both the hell she went through and the hell she caused. But then with a couple of nice words, Monica seems resigned to the whole new arrangement when she finds out the player and Mobius Natsuki have changed things. Or not really, it's kind of vague. I could say all that, but I think that would detract from the really great stuff in this mod. The dialogue choices were fun and good, interesting. Overall, the characters were portrayed well, and it put a sincere and noticeable effort into dealing with each of the girls' issues in a sensitive manner. The main ending had a solid message behind it, emphasizing that depression and self-harm aren't things you just get over, and that it takes time and effort to deal with it. And the fact that the game was almost entirely made with canon assets lent a nice, genuine quality to it. I saw the point of this mod is to take the audience on a journey where they get to experience a different and better ending than they experienced in the canon game, and maybe a little bit of healing, and hints at resolution from that experience. And definitely a little more time and pleasant atmosphere with the Dokis, especially majestic Natsuki. And I think in that aspect, the mod accomplishes its goal brilliantly. A wholesome moral to be a better person. See, saving the Literature Club isn't just the obvious thing here, it's also an ideal and an achievable philosophy to take all the good you got from Doki Doki Literature Club and apply it to yourself to be a better person, and apply it to the world around you. And if you do that, then you'll be, in essence, saving the Literature Club. I am still butthurt about it deleting all my saves. I wanted to explore more, But oh well. And I did get to coin a new term that we can use to apply to the 1 or 2 games that actually use it. And that I'm sure will be a household phrase in no time. So that's cool.
First,
God damn it! At the beginning of the mod, there's an option to turn off the strong language, which I thought was weird, because this is an adult game, and most adults who would play Doki Doki Literature Club, and then a Doki Doki Literature Club mod, probably don't have an issue with strong language. And then I found out it's essentially to throw a bone to streamers, as the YouTube community has been a huge support in continuing to make Doki Doki Literature Club mods relevant. This gives them the opportunity to do that more easily. Well, tubers who monetize anyway. I don't, because if I did, I couldn't say
Fuk-fukity-fukfukfuk.
Fuk-fukity-fukfukfuk. Fuk-fukity-fukfukfuk. Baka.
Try to fix you.
Abraham Lincoln is kind of a weird poem. You get the option to read it to Monica, but it clearly doesn't do anything for her. To be honest, I felt like Monica didn't really need a poem. She's already self-aware and understands the game's mechanics. She just doesn't realize the position she's still in. Even though she can see some of the strings, that doesn't mean they're not still attached. The intention is that between her argument with Natsiki and later her conversation with MC, you would get the idea that she's starting to figure it out herself, even without a poem. There's a question there about someone being real, but it's not actually about Monica. There are 5 lines of increasingly fictional quality. The first one is literally just a statement, and the second one is a general interpretation of history. Lincoln didn't personally free the slaves, but he was a key figure in that part of American history. The third one isn't true, it's an exaggeration of his imagery and how people remember him. The fourth one isn't even close to true. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter is a fictional work that's only inspired by real life. The last one has no basis in reality at all. Lincoln had no daughters. The only thing that's applicable is that he was a good person, someone who would take care of their daughter and not starve or abuse her. So yeah, the poem isn't for Monica, it's for Natsiki herself and for how this story ends. The ending reads, "Is Abraham Lincoln even real?" For which the answer is yes and no. It's complicated. When you die, who you are becomes something of a legend, an imperfect memory and set of ideas that get passed on. Are those real? Which ties back into the thing Natsuki's been thinking about. Is Natsiki real? One of the things that inspired me to make this mod in the first place was seeing a lot of reactions to how the game ended. I saw a lot of really upset people. People who couldn't accept the way it ended, people who needed that happy ending. And as with several fandoms I've seen over the past few years, some of those reactions could get intense. DDLC brought a lot of people together, but that also included people who still had a lot of problems they needed to work through, and it felt like some of them were doing it in unhealthy ways. My first reaction was to make a story with a lot more blunt of an ending. Dokis aren't real. Stop getting hung up on waifus, and if I have to delete myself at the end to push you to get over it, so be it. Fortunately, I realized fairly quickly that a lot of that was my own depression talking, and that it wasn't actually a good way to get a message across. What if I could give it a better message that focused on how games and characters in them are important? Yeah, it's not good to get obsessed with a game and to the point of making it the end-all be-all of your life. If you're dipping into rent and food money to buy merchandise or threatening someone online who disagrees with you, maybe it's time to step back a bit and rethink what you're doing. But games are also a big part of my life, and they've helped me in a lot of dark moments. And if that isn't real, then what is? So instead, I wanted to make it a story about that, and about a character who comes to terms with that realization, that even if she's never going to be more than ideas and part of a script, that's okay, because she can still do a lot of good in the world. I didn't put the poem right before MC leaves the classroom, because I felt it would be way too obvious what I meant there. I even wondered if Natsuki's "crazy how someone who isn't real can still have an effect on you" line was giving things away too much before the final choice. In the end, she didn't need a character file to be real. She's always going to be real right there.
I think "crazy, someone who isn't real can still have such a great effect on you" is the best line of the game.
Fuck it, wait, hang on. Fuk-fukity-fukfukfuk.